Greetings everyone, and welcome back to the third and final installment of 1v1 ranked picks. Obviously, we'll have some more content around 1v1 ranks when we come out, but this is to just help you guys get along, get thinking, get planning your attack for ranked battles, and I'm just trying to help you make the correct choices. So, first of all, let's have a look at the DDs. And bizarrely, I only just realised I didn't actually look through these and make a list of the DDs. But let's be honest, Z23, La Fantasque, they're going to be the choices, really. Z23, why the Z23, might you ask? Well, here we go. So we've got smoke. We have 4.4 detectability range of ships. With the smoke, actually the ZF I think might be slightly better. Oh no, ZF doesn't have. ZF has the reload booster. Obviously, I believe the Lightning does also have smoke and sonar, but I don't believe the sonar is as good. 3.5 detectability of ships. So Z23 should be out of Lightning. Fletcher doesn't have the whole smoke thing. Torpedo. Tashkent doesn't have the detectability. Akatsuki has the guns. Smoke, but doesn't really have the. It doesn't have the sonar. Yeah, Z23, La Fantasque, again, obviously going to be another really strong choice for speed boost consumables. Speed boost reduces our detectability massively. And of course, this is when my wife decides to phone. Well, she can wait. So our consumer is 5.5, but it gets down to like 4.4, 4.5 with speed boost on, making you the sneakiest. La Fantasque obviously has pretty good torpedoes, 9.6 kilometers at 74 knots. So the La Fantasque is going to be an absolute terror. Obviously, the big problem when you get up to this tier is there's a lot more options on radar. So let's move on to cruisers. So yeah, Z23 or La Fantasque, they are gonna absolutely rule tier 7 as DD. So we're gonna move on to cruisers, and of course, wouldn't be a tier 7 video without me about cruisers, without me mentioning the Edinburgh. So the Edinburgh is pretty much impervious to all battleships because of its 30mm bow. The only one that can really hurt it is or do any significant damage through the front is the Georgia. But if you build it right, you can get its, I think I can get its detectability range down to about 9 kilometers. So it can stealth top. You won't choose smoke, you'll choose radar to counter DDs. So yeah, let me swap this around. So yeah, 30-second radar, and what have we got? Is it like a 5-second reload or something like that on our guns? Oh, 7.5-second reload, sorry, on our guns. So that's 4 full salvos whilst radar's running. Obviously we have sonar to counter DDs. Probably the best cruiser against DDs, purely because of its rate of fire with the very good radar. Also the fact that only one battleship can overmatch its armor. I think the Edinburgh is going to be really strong. Obviously, if other cruisers catch you broadside, they're going to really hurt you. So is a battleship, so is a DD. But it's 1v1. You shouldn't be surprised, especially when you've got very low detectability. This isn't my detectability build. This is 9.8, which is still very low. But I definitely don't think I would be running Miss on there. I think I would probably go with maybe John maybe John Jellos. Let's have a quick look. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand. So concealment 8.8. So you do lose out on some of your power to shoot, to damage battleships and cruisers, but you get your detectability down to 8.8. No cruiser and no battleship is ever going to surprise you. That's going to give you time to point your bow in the right direction and you know, maneuver yourself, position yourself to hopefully get a first salvo straight at the broadside, which is going to help you massively. It's quite quick, reasonably maneuverable as well. Like I said, we have those 10-kilometer torpedoes, so you know we've got a 1.2 kilometer margin of stealth torping anyway. And then obviously if you've got a battleship or a cruiser pushing you, it just helps you. It just increases your odds of being able to hit them. So Edinburgh is going to be really good at tier 7. But so everyone doesn't get too mad, obviously have to mention the Baltimore, which again is very good. It's got the heels, although the heels are not as good as the Edinburghs. It's got the radar, which is on par with the Edinburgh. Obviously you've got the sonar as well. Advantages of the Baltimore, slightly better against battleships, because it does have slower firing guns, only 10.6, but it has the super heavy armor piercing, and the HE is really strong as well. Obviously Edinburgh doesn't have HEs. Bow tanking battleships, basically bow tanking battleships, there's two ways to deal with them. With the Baltimore, you can back away, as long as they've got smaller than 16-inch guns, because 16-inch guns will go through the armor on the front, because we're only 27 mil. So 16-inch gun will overmatch it. So that's going to be Massachusetts, Kansas, Georgia, Bismarck, Tirpitz, whereas you only have to worry about Georgia in the Edinburgh. But its HE is really good. You can back away slowly, show them your bow, and just burn them down. Whereas the Edinburgh, you've got to change. You've got to take a completely different tactic. If you're up against a battleship, and it's a Georgia, you just need to run. Just need to run and hope he gets bored and does something stupid and falls into your torps. But anything else, essentially, for all intents and purposes, you can just charge them down. Just head straight at them. Make sure you don't stupidly show any side on the way in. Pick your time, wait for them to fire a salvo, turn, unleash your torps, swing back round the other side, hopefully, and because I don't think you can kill a full health battleship with one salvo of torps. You might. You can chip away at their superstructure as you're on your way in as well. But yeah, completely different tactics to be used there. Like I said, I don't think heightened ships are going to get a particularly good time, because literally all you need to do is disengage them. I think the Amalfi needs a little bit of a shout out here, because the Amalfi has smoke, planes, and heels, and what that means is if you're up against battleships, you can use your rolling smoke, use your plane to spot them if they're out in open water, and you can cause some significant damage that way. Smoke is the rolling smoke, so it lasts for 35 seconds. Obviously with a plane up, you get 100 seconds with a 80-second reload time in between. Heels are reasonably good, but it also has the crazy Italian long range, but very, very slow torpedoes. And that brings us on to the big boys, battleships at tier 7. So, what do I think? Good picks. Well, Georgia, I think, needs an honourable mention, purely because it's the only thing that can handle an Edinburgh. It's the only thing that can damage the Edinburgh, but it has a problem. whereas its armor is quite weak. So against other battleships, it is not as strong. So if you're hoping for those 1v1 battleship battles, Georgia is not going to be what you want. It's going to be my first pick, which is Kansas. Since the buff, so the Kansas, incredibly tanky. Against other battleships, if that's what you're looking for, you're hoping to get those 1v1 battles. Against other battleships, Kansas is the one. 45% torpedo reduction. You have those 12 406mm guns. AA doesn't really matter. 16.5 second rudder shift time is not terrible, but you are going to be outspotted by a margin. But the fact you've got a crap ton of guns is going to help you deal with cruisers a lot more effectively. It's going to help you deal with battleships. There's just no other battleship that can tank and utilize its guns and armor as much as the Kansas can. Sorry, Iowa, but just a simple fact of life. The Kansas is a beast. But obviously, if you come up against DDs, or you're going to have a stealth torp firing cruiser, you know, such as the Edinburgh, such as the Mogami, had to go. Is it Mogami? Whatever the Tier 7 Imperial Japanese Navy ship is, you're going to struggle. Which is why the next pick is my next pick. And that is Monarch. So, why the Monarch? Right, okay, so it's not got the greatest hit points. It's not got the best artillery, although it does have fairly fast firing guns with a 22-second reload. Maneuverability, it's not particularly maneuverable. Not particularly concealed. Well, this is why. 35% chance of setting fire. So these big strong battleships that you're going to come against that are going to bow tank you, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer a lot from fire. If they go broadside, the armor piercing is no joke at all. But that's it. The zombie heal. 1,670 hit points per second for 11 seconds. So what's that? 1,800 hit points. And 4 of them, you can basically print yourself another ship and a half. As long as you can keep the engagement continuing for that long. So having the ability to set everything on fire, having the ability to heal. Particularly, you know, if you're fighting a DD and if you're fighting a DD in a battleship, you're gonna take torps. The key is staying alive long enough for them to make a mistake for you to actually be able to kill them, because that's the only way you kill in a DD is if they screw up. You're not outplaying a DD; they have to make a mistake. The longer you can stay in the battle, the better. So, yeah, Monarch is just going to be so good at doing that. It's going to be so good at surviving. Kiting, fire spamming cruisers, they're going to be easy to deal with. You don't even need to disengage. You can just chase them and wait for them to see their predictable pattern. And once you figured out how they're predictable, right now I'm going to turn and shoot. You should have a fairly easy time killing them. They're not going to be able to kill you because the only damage they're really going to do is fire damage, and you'll be able to heal all that back. And of course, fire damage ticks up over time. Basically, as soon as you repair party reloads, you'll just print yourself a new ship. So that's them dealt with. And obviously, fighting other battleships, we've already really discussed that, so we don't need to go over that again. So the Monarch is going to be real strong. Jean Bart I'd stay away from. Obviously Jean Bart's very good in standard battles, but that's because you need to catch people broadside and use the reload booster. Any battleship player that you come up against with this salt is just going to blow out your guns, and you're just going to be a giant torpedo trying to chase down the battleship that you can't do anything against. Cruiser wise, most cruisers can't overmatch their bow, so you're not going to get those side-on shots because Jean Bart only has 14-inch guns, I believe. Like 14-inch. 380s. 380s is 14-inch, right? So yeah, great. I call it the cheat ship in standard battles. Absolutely useless in ranked. But well, basically these two, the Odin or the Turbits. Personally, I think the Odin is slightly better, purely because so we've got a good hit point pool, very fast firing guns, although they are only 305s, 27% chance of catching fire, which is good. But we also have torpedoes. We can use the tankiness and the torpedoes to push up on enemies, enemy battleships, and just torpedo them to death. Reasonable torpedo reduction, but you do have sonar, which can help you counter DDs. And obviously with sonar, as we've discussed, it's all about staying alive long enough for them to screw up, and having sonar is going to help you with that. I believe I forgot to mention that obviously at tier 6, did I do tier 6 battleship? Honestly can't remember if I did. If I didn't, which I don't think I did, tier 6 battleships, Scharnhorst, North Carolina, are going to be... North Carolina's the strongest battleship. Scharnhorst is the best all round, but Hood or Duke of York gives you sonar to counter DDs. Right, so this has been very extensive. These three videos have taken me a lot of time. There's been a lot of thought gone into these, so I do hope you all appreciate it. You can show you appreciate by giving us a like and a comment, and engaging in the discussion down below. I will obviously be monitoring these. I'll be popping in to the chat, taking into consideration your guys' thoughts and opinions on my picks. And like I said, if I've done anything demonstrably wrong, well, we'll do an update video. So thank you very much again for stopping by, and as always, till next time, take care.